What's good, everybody? My name is Ande.
And I'm Ed. What's up?
What's going on, everybody? This is Talking Soups, and today we're recording our third episode. I want us to say first things first. Thank you, everybody, for all the love and support that you've showed so far with us. We really appreciate that, and it goes a long way. So keep showing love, liking, subscribing, commenting. That's what we want to hear from you guys, and just keep it up with us. We're here for you, and we're here to stay. All right.
Yeah, definitely. If you're listening to us right now, make sure you're following, subscribing. Leave us a comment, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We truly appreciate it. It means a lot.
Thank you. Um, and so yeah, so we've had a busy week this week. A lot of things going down.
Seems
On
like all
top
at
of this,
once, right? Like everything all
yeah,
at once.
yeah. It's been a lot. Off air, I was kind of telling Ed like, "Dang, is there like some type of like quarterly like deadline going on out there or something like that?" Because it's just so crazy how everything's dropping all at the same time right now. So it's interesting. But yeah, we're gonna get into this right now. Wait, well, first things first, I want to say everybody out there that is stuck in the winter storm on the East Coast side and kind of the South too. I hope you guys are staying safe and all that good stuff. Um, I'm taking
Ande is not telling
yeah.
you. Yeah. See, he's going the long way around. He's about to get on a flight tonight to go to Puerto Rico and miss this
Yeah.
whole entire East Coast
Yeah,
snowstorm.
I'm getting the
So
fuck
don't
up
let
out
him
of here.
fool you.
So, you guys, I hope you have an amazing time. I just wanted to share my condolences and all that good stuff, just in case, because I love you guys. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So further ado, let's get right into this. We got the Mall Shadow of Lords trailer that just released. Heavy anticipated Star Wars project that a lot of people have been waiting for, fresh off the new Kathleen Kennedy retirement news, and Filoni in this now and stuff like that. How you feeling, Ed? Like this is our shit. What's going on?
And this is prime Lucasfilm like animation. If you notice, the Clone Wars animation had like the chiseled chins, the bigger heads, a little bit, off. Rebels got a little bit more into that, but as stuff's gone on with Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire and the other show, Bad Batch,
Bad
the,
bad
the
shit.
animation started to get more and more lifelike, and I feel like this Maul show is like the closest thing to that. Like, there's no roundabout animation to it. They're supposed to look how they're supposed to look, and they look fantastic. I'm soup.
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
like every time they continue to put out these Clone Wars style little TV shows, the animation just continues to like level up at each time, every time, and it's amazing.
yeah, all
I
these
don't know how they do
backgrounds
it.
look real. Like they look like they're literally
Right?
like popping out of the
Yeah,
screen, and it's a brand new
yeah.
planet that we've never been on. That's in the trailer that you see.
Hmm.
Basically, this whole thing is set after the ending of the Clone Wars. So the finale of the Clone
Mm.
Wars, where him and Ahsoka go their separate ways. He leaves her stranded on the ship that's going down, and he takes off. The next time we see him in canon and continuality is in the Solo movie. So there's a whole big chunk of time that's like missing from the Maul story. If you're not aware and you're wondering like how the hell is Maul even still alive, in Clone Wars, it's revealed that Maul, was cut in half in the Phantom Menace. His anger is what like kept him alive. His brother Savage Opress goes and tracks him down and ends up finding him. They give him like a lower robot limb torso, and Maul is back. So basically, there's a whole story through Clone Wars that follows into Star Wars Rebels, but there's a big time gap in between there. We leave Maul with Ahsoka at the end of Clone Wars, and Rebels shows Maul being stranded on the planet Malachor. So big chunk of history there, and from what it looks like, we're going to get a lot of answers.
Yeah, that's a good thing because I know a lot of people were asking me, non-Star Wars people, like, "Oh, where does this take place?" Whatever, and I was telling them that I was just like, I do believe this takes place right after Clone Wars because I mean, that would make sense because he just has to fight Obi-Wan still for that one last time, and it's really interesting. What do you think? Like, because I think I sent you the clip of the director talking about, we might have some like Padawan and like Emperor like stuff going on here. What do you know what that might be like he's hinting towards, or
So I forget her name. I did have her name written down. There is going to be, so basically, when George Lucas, before he signed over Lucasfilms to Disney, before they acquired them in the purchase, George had wrote 3 scripts for the sequels and had planned a sequel
yeah.
trilogy that involved Darth Maul and Darth Talon, who is a Sith Lord that is from like old Republic canon, not the old Republic timeline, but like old legacy canon before Disney bought everything. George really liked her as a character and figured, let me pair her with Maul. So there's a possibility that this girl that we're seeing in this trailer could possibly be Darth Talon. And if that's the case, I'm here for it. I know a lot of people are going to be mad. There's a lot of people on the internet already. Like, I hope she's not going to end up being Talon, but I don't care about any of like the old Legends continuality. I'm all for building continuality now, like in the present with this new Disney acquisition and the timeline that they've established. So I'm here for it. I really want to see where this goes. It's funny, listen to clips from Sam Witwer, who's going to be playing Maul. He's voiced Maul now for pretty much everything, even in the Solo movie, despite
Yeah, I
it
was gonna
being
say.
Ray Park's face that was on screen. It was Sam who voiced him.
Right.
Um, Sam basically had talked about during the Clone Wars, he kept and Rebels, he kept mentioning things to Dave about like, what if we did this or what if we showed this? And Dave kind of kept hinting at the fact of, well, we could do that, but this isn't a Darth Maul show. And then
Mm,
Sam said, little did I know he had
mm,
planned a Darth Maul show for in the works. So I'm hoping that they're going to incorporate, George and Dave Filoni still have a very close relationship. I'm hoping
mm-hmm.
they're going to adapt bits of that screenplay and that story into this, and we're going to get to see it play out. I would even love to see Amelia Clark's character, Kira, come back from Solo, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a big, unanswered story point from Solo that we never
From
knew what
Solo,
happened. If you
correct.
read the
Yeah.
comic books, there's like an ending to it in Crimson Empire. You find out that like Kira was trained by Maul and learned all these things and like developed a contingency plan for after he died. But
Right. Right.
it's in the comics. A lot of people haven't read it, so it'd be cool to see that adapted. But I know they're guaranteed 3 seasons for this show.
Oh
Hopefully
wow.
it does phenomenal. Just like Bad Batch. Basically, Bad Batch has
Yeah.
the same kind of presence. You get three
Yeah, I didn't
seasons.
know it was gonna be that long. Wow, that makes me more excited now. I thought
Yeah,
this was gonna be like a one-time thing, kind of like not like well, yeah, kind of like Star Wars Visions, where it's just like a one-off thing. But that's just nice. So it'll just be like the new Bad Batch. Um,
pretty much. Yeah,
my
it's basically taking that same exact role of Bad Batch and then just gonna carry on with Maul instead. And it also, my assumption is we'll probably see Asajj Ventress at some point in this show. Again,
right.
this is going to take place basically during the same time as the Bad Batch took place, so
Mm-hmm.
there's room for crossover from that show that might not be like direct, maybe more like subtle clues or some
Mm-hmm.
characters that you might recognize from the other
Mm-hmm.
show.
Like they've
um
done in Bad Batch before.
so my main thing though, I really really want to see in this show, and I know again it might make some people mad, but there's a line in Star Wars Rebels when Maul knows Vader's coming. Maul basically tells Ezra and Kanan and Ahsoka that he can't take Maul alone, and he knows it
Mm-hmm.
already. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta see Maul and Darth Vader duel in this show. Like, I need to
Mm-hmm.
see, in the trailer we see Marok, which is one of the Inquisitors that we see in Ahsoka later on, and the other Inquisitor is from the Tales of the Jedi episode and the Tales of the Empire episode. He's the one that Ahsoka kills later on in the timeline. So
Mm-hmm.
both of those, we know. My guess is Maul's going to kill Marok, and then that's how the Night Sisters end up using Marok down the line in Ahsoka. Because
Yeah,
if
Ahsoka.
you
Yeah.
remember in Ahsoka, when he was killed, he was just a green ball of mist.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is that's kind of what he's going to end up being. Is that's how the Night Sisters end up taking him and Morgan Elsbeth, and maybe we see Morgan Elsbeth in this show, which would be really cool. I love
Right.
Diana Leah Santo. I would love to see her cross over with Maul, being that they're both from the same planet.
Yeah, I thought the girl who I forget her name, but she's from Rebels. She's the one who's like the pilot.
Hera,
I thought she was because I seen somebody in her same like species, so say in the trailer.
yeah,
So I thought
she's a Twi'lek. They're called.
Okay, yeah. I thought she was her for a second, but then I
No,
was like,
they're
she don't
all
know that
they
that
all
stuff.
have
Yeah.
that whole species. So Ahsoka's part of that species. Hera is, or no, Ahsoka's a different species. I'm sorry, or no, is she Twi'lek? Now I'm gonna get hate in the on the pod because I'm not sure. But Hera is a Twi'lek, and there was a Twi'lek in Boba Fett, the security detail guy that was helping them. That was a lot of the jokes and stuff
Hmm.
with Pelimoto. He was Twi'lek. So basically, anytime you see those head tails, that's what species they are.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um, it looks good, man. Like
Yeah, I'm
the
excited for it.
animation is great. I can't wait for it.
This honestly might be the most I've been excited for something Star Wars recently. Is like seeing this and then seeing all the possibilities and what it could lead to. Because I personally have been wanting to see Sam come back as Maul, whether it was live action or animation. So I'm really happy that we get this.
And then in like let's just talk timelines, things that are going on after this. So then we'll get this coming up, and then I think we saw that we have the which is the Shane Black movie with Ryan Gosling that comes right after this. Um,
Not Shane Black. It's Sean Levy.
Sean Levy. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So after this, we have another season of Star Wars Visions, but it's focused on the Ninth Jedi. Ahsoka season 2 will be coming out, and from what it sounds like, even after we talked about it, I think last week or the week before, it sounds
Hmm.
like this will be the end of the Mandoverse in Ahsoka season 2. It
Mm.
sounds like the Mando movie is just kind of a send off to Mando and Grogu, and then the Ahsoka movie is like kind of the conclusion of what was planned. Maybe if things go well and Ahsoka and Mando do really well, we get more. But it sounds like they're going to put a bow on it after Ahsoka season 2. And then next year
Mm.
we have Starfighter with Ryan Gosling,
Rightfully so.
Mia Goth, Matt Smith, Amy Adams, and directed by Sean Levy. And like we talked about last week, Tom Cruise filmed a lightsaber scene for the movie in some point.
Yeah, so you already can imagine the Top Gun shit that he probably got going on in there cinematically, and that's gonna be awesome to see in the movies. I can't wait for that one.
And the thing with
That's
this mall show is set a year after the Order 66. So there's going to be Jedi running around that are
Mhm.
hiding, that are still on the run
For
from
all those
Order
people who are
66.
complaining about no lightsabers. You about to get hit with a shit ton of lightsabers and fucking starfighters, people.
Yeah, well, we don't know about Starfighter. Starfighter, all that we know is that there's at least one lightsaber fight in that movie that Tom Cruise obviously did something with.
It's
But
it's there.
in this mall show, there's definitely going to be the opportunity to see more Jedi. We could see, like I said, some cameos from some other characters from other shows or other properties at this time.
Right.
It's we're really going to see Maul was privy to the Emperor's plan. He knew what the Emperor was going to do. He knew this was all going to unfold, and he thought he was going to be the person standing next to him when this all happened. So now it's
Right.
almost like the rug gets pulled out from under Maul, and now he's got to live with the decisions he made, the things that he did in Clone Wars, and now seeing the Empire under this control of this guy that he used to work for and like you know do things for. It's crazy. So it's really interesting to see like where this is going to be now at this point.
Finally, like a friend of mine, I'll shout him out, Joel. We're finally getting a true Lucasfilm sequel. Let's just say, based off of the script and the things that were, that we spoke about earlier, the going through. This is a true Lucasfilm sequel.
Yeah, and it's a true Filoni sequel. Like this is Dave
That as well.
continuing
Hmm.
doing what he's been doing with the other two shows. So it's going to be interesting to see how he connects it. Like I said, I'm all for seeing some cameos. Basically, all that we know, I want to say it's almost 15 years in between, or
Hmm.
maybe even a little bit longer, because I think Luke's supposed to be 16 in the first movie. So about 16 years, give or take, in between to have, what's going to happen in this mall show happen. We know that when we see him again in Rebels, he's stuck on Malachor and he's been trapped there for some time. We don't know how he ended up there or why he ended up there other than to find this temple, but he can't open it on his own. So he was just waiting for somebody else. And Master Yoda knows that Maul's on Malachor and sends Ezra there on purpose. So personally, my pitch for the Kenobi season 2 was always involving this little plot line of Maul being stuck on Malachor. And I would have had Maul almost look for Kenobi to try to get Vader. And like basically Maul found out that Kenobi was alive at some point. He tried to go team up with Kenobi, basically saying, "You and me can go take him down. I can't take him
Right.
on my own, but you and me can do it." And put all our past behind us, whatever. And Kenobi couldn't do it. Kenobi had to move on. They dueled one more time, and that's how Maul got stuck on Malachor. It's like Kenobi left him there. So that's
So
why, like,
question.
in Rebels, when Maul finds out that Kenobi's still alive, it
Yeah.
enrages him because he's like, that motherfucker left me stranded there on that planet. So, like, just adding more to their story on top of the fact that Maul had already killed, the love of Obi-Wan's life and,
Right,
and all
right,
this
right.
other stuff.
So, question for like the people out there who haven't been hip to it, because there's a lot of people who hasn't watched Rebels and things of that nature. If they're coming into this blinded, do you think they should do any like homework on it? Like, what's the short way of how what they should do to get caught up on it?
Definitely think my guess is Disney will probably have some sort of playlist on Disney Plus with all
That's
Maul
right.
episodes from
That
Clone
is
Wars.
correct. Mm-hmm.
That's the easiest way to do it is just like throw up a
Mm-hmm.
playlist. There's probably about 15, I'd say about 15 episodes, maybe a little bit more that like Maul's involved in the storyline or has
Yeah,
some
that's
part
true.
playing out.
That's
So
true. They do
I
have
would
those on Disney
have that
Plus.
whole playlist up. I would probably add the Rebels stuff to that as well, just so you can kind of get like a whole big picture of Maul's life and like where it ends. Because spoiler alert, in Rebels, he dies. Him and Kenobi
Mm-hmm.
have one final duel that
That's a
lasts
big spoiler
literally. So
alert.
this is the coolest thing, and I don't know how many people know this. So if you've never watched Star Wars Rebels, I'm sorry, but I'm giving you too much nerdy information. But Sam has talked about it in interviews that basically Maul goes to do the same move that he does to Qui-Gon Jinn, and basically how he killed Qui-Gon in Phantom Menace. That's how Maul approaches Kenobi in Rebels, and that's why the duel ends so fast because the minute Kenobi realizes the stance that Maul takes, the duel's already over because Kenobi knows what's coming and the move that's coming to follow. So like literally Maul makes one little subtle movement and Kenobi cuts him down and catches him in his arms before he hits the ground. So it's like, and it's such a beautiful moment because he does tell Maul at the end, like, the kid I'm protecting, the kid that I'm watching over is going to be the one to save the galaxy. He's going to save all of us. He's going to avenge you. He's going to avenge me. And like, our history as a whole is over and done with. It dies here with you. And like, that's it. I forgive you. You can move on and you can go knowing that like the Emperor will come be defeated and Vader will be taken care of. Like it's such a beautiful moment when you look at it from that perspective and have like that framing on that duel.
That is true. Thinking, well, speaking of the universe and masters and things of that nature, we got the trailer for Masters of the Universe that
Yes.
just got released. We talked about it last week, just a teaser because we just saw like a little gibbet of it. So my opinion on it is like I'm here for all the He-Man shit, bro.
Mhm.
I'm here for Battle Cat. He-Man was a great thing for me growing up.
I was
I
gonna
think I
ask,
had,
are you
yeah,
were you like grown up on He-Man? Are you a
yeah.
He-Man fan? All right, because I'm not.
I
I'm
wasn't hip. I wasn't hip to the TV show. I'll be
okay.
honest. I was more hip to the toys.
Okay.
But then because I got the toys were introduced to me first, and then the TV show was introduced after. But even then, it's not like the original one. It's the one that used to come on like Toonami in like 2005 or four or something like
So
that.
the remake,
Around
I
the
think it
same.
was I think it was like Masters of the Universe 2000 or whatever it was called at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Okay.
like yeah. So that's where that came into play. So watching the trailer, it just honestly made me feel like I was playing with my toys again as a kid or whatever. Because let me tell you this, the detail that they put into the castle that I mean everybody had the castle if you had He-Man stuff. Is so like on point, like
Oh yeah, it
the
looks
I don't
sick.
know, like the camera points that they went in on it, where they're just going through like the beginning of the skull and showing you out. It was almost as if like they were testing me, and like my whole like nostalgia and my kids stuff memory just came back to life. Not to mention like Battle Cat in this. That's like the number one thing. I haven't seen Okra yet. It's waiting to see him, and also I haven't. Well, I did see, and I thought it was funny that Idris, the real Idris that we always talk
Just
confuse Idris
Alba, yeah.
Elba
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is playing man in arms. and he looks pretty. It looks pretty accurate. The only thing I don't like about the trailer is the fact that they gotta break it like, and I think that's how the original old one was, where it's like the guy is from Earth and he comes to the master the He-Man universe. And I just don't be like, why do you have to do that? Like, you could just make a single-handed He-Man movie the way it is. Prince Adam, he is He-Man, and then his sister Shira. Well, hopefully we get like an end credit scene of that or something. But yeah, that's this is some of my main thoughts on that. I'm excited for it. I'll be there day one. But how you feeling that?
So I was not a Motu fan. I don't know really anything about it. I remember watching like the original movie with Dolph Lundgren when I was a kid. Motu was like before my time. So like I was born in '87. Motu I think started in '87 or maybe '85. So before me, it wasn't a toy line that I picked up when I was a kid. It's not a toy line that like I collect now.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with it. I know have a lot of friends that love it and like are obviously know a lot more about it than I do. For me, I watched the Kevin Smith show, and I know a lot of people hated it. I liked it because I knew nothing about the lore or the previous history. So for me, the Kevin Smith show is about all I know about He-Man. So I'm going into
It's
this movie.
accurate as fuck. So you're
Well,
in the right steps.
from what I know and what I understand, the Kevin Smith show was done with the intent that it's supposed to be a continuation of the original cartoon. It's just
Yeah.
a furthering of the story.
Right.
This, from what it seems like from the trailer, it seems like his parents send him away to Earth to keep him safe, and then that's
Yeah.
why
Also
he's
Superman shit.
he's stuck on Earth and looking for his
Hmm.
way to get back, and that's why he's looking for the sword. And they have that little comedy thing in the trailer, so
Hmm.
that's fine for me as long as we're not going to be on Earth long. Like we're just going to go get him and bring him to Eternia. I'm fine with
Hmm.
that. But yeah, like you said, Castle Grayskull looked incredible when they came up on that front shot and they showed you like the moat around it and how just everything looked. So I'm here for that. I like it. It does give me Thor Ragnarok vibes. Like it really has like the
I
Ragnarok
know what you mean by that.
cinematography
Yeah.
and feel
Hmm.
of that it's on that collector planet. I think just because like my now you could say it one way or the other. One director took inspiration from that, but you could also say that Ragnarok took inspiration from He-Man, like when they
No,
did the concept
1,000%.
to
Look at the
beginning.
promo for Love and Thunder. That shit
So
looks just like He-Man when he's saying he has the power. Yeah,
so
one
like
thousand percent.
I'm cool with it. I'm here for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Like I said, I know really nothing, so I'm going in with a complete like no take on anything, but it looks cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. The one thing that has me crossing my fingers, and I know a lot of people that I spoke to, it was the same way, is because they try to make Jared Leto look like so cool just because he
I
was
was
He-Man. I mean, he's Skeletor, but you know for some weird reason, every time this man touches a movie, especially as a villain, it's just he makes the movie of horrible. So I'm praying to God, his aura or whatever the hell it is, they don't put it on. He doesn't. It doesn't go through this because I hope he
that's
does.
been that's been my one thing because for me personally, anytime I see that Jared Leto is involved in anything, I'm immediately like, I don't want to even see this movie. Like I'm total like
Yeah.
even the last Tron movie, I again don't know Tron, it's before my time. So
Hmm.
even like going to check that out on Disney Plus, I'm like, nah, do I want to waste my time? Jared Leto's in it. Like I know, and that's it. And it's just I'm done with that. Like, and so for me, the fact that he's completely hidden and not he's under the makeup
He,
or under the
yeah.
CGI or whatever. I don't have to
And
see
they
him
show
and look
him
that it's
right
Jared
at the
Leto.
end of the trailer too, so
Yeah,
you barely even they
I'm
even gave
okay
him
with
any
that.
screen time.
Like I'm
Yeah,
okay with that. That's not gonna bother me as bad as like seeing him on screen or seeing him in like makeup and being able to know that it's him. You know
no,
what I
that's
mean?
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
as if he's just doing like the voice work, kind of in a way.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm assuming it's like mocap. I'm assuming he's in probably like a green suit with full kind of dotted suit or whatever the
gear.
case
Yeah.
may be. But yeah, that's my assumption. It's mostly CGI, is what I would assume. But it looks cool. I'm excited for it. It was pleasantly surprised, like I said, and I heard from early screenings, a lot of people said it was a good movie. Like a lot of fan responses
Those are
from the
out
early.
already.
Well, they did like early screeners to test this movie beforehand with people to to see how people like the movie.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They do that with all the movies pretty much
I know,
for
but I
most of
didn't
these.
know this was already
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Like this is the
This
first
was
time anybody's seen any like a full trailer.
but
So
that's
I didn't
why
even know
people were
that.
waiting. That's why people were waiting for the trailer for this movie was because they had heard that they were doing showings of this and that the response was pretty solid. So it was like, when's this trailer coming if the response is so good? And then they hit us with it. So it was cool. I was like I said, pleasantly surprised. I'm always here for good movies. This year we have an incredible lineup of movies. Like so many movies, and Dune 3 and Avengers are going head to head, which is gonna be astronomical.
Yeah, Robbie Donnie was already saying that they tossed a coin. This is going to be Doomsday, and I love that they're into it. The whole Barbie Oppenheimer thing was
It
like
was good for
a
cinemas. Yeah.
yeah, it's a good cinematic thing. So this is going to be fun again to see that two movies that I actually am very interested to see. Personally, I think I would have to see just because I know how both movie is. I would have to go see Dune first and then see Doomsday because I feel like Dune is a more chill, laid back. I'm gonna be way too excited to see Avengers. I'm gonna want more knowing that we're getting Secret Wars. So I would have to do it like that. But I'm excited. This is gonna be a good year. I'm gonna be in the cinema. OD.
I didn't
AMC, get ready.
I didn't like how the last Dune movie ended. Like I didn't like what happened with Zendaya's character and like just how that went down. So
Right.
I've never read the. I have the Dune graphic novels, but I haven't read them because I didn't want to spoil the next movie. I kind of wanted
I
to
have the
know like
novel.
what was going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing like where it goes and what they do with it. And I know there's going to be some sort of time jump like involved because there's kids involved in the next story. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see how that movie ends up being. Because yeah, the last one, I loved it until the ending. I was expecting so much more out of that like ending, and then
Yeah, it just ended.
it just
Like it
kind
was
of
so like
cuts
yeah.
abruptly. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And
Um,
speaking of movies, I guess we can get into our next topic. Night of the Seven. I mean, the Oscar nominations. You want to just go there
oh,
with Sinners setting a
wait,
record?
before we go there, because I want to get the trailers out.
Okay,
So
okay. Oh,
well, the next thing we have is Invincible season 4.
yes,
Now
yes.
that's another very high anticipated show that's coming out. Season three's ending it was crazy. Crab is gonna be something I don't know if he's my boy is ready to deal with, but it's gonna be good. I'm excited for that.
So, believe it or not, this is another series that I've never watched.
Wow.
I've never watched any of Invincible. I've seen clips. I'm familiar about like the premise. It's not a book that I've read. So, like that, I know a lot of like the fandom comes from the Robert Kirkman fan base, and
Hmm.
another thing that he's touched that's turned to gold. I love the artist Ryan Otley. Like, some of his stuff is amazing in Marvel and Skybound and everything else that he does. So I'm familiar with it, but yeah, I've never watched the show. So
Dude, you
it's
gotta
on my
check out
watch list.
Invincible. Hmm.
I don't know why. Like it's just one of those shows I should have watched already. I should have
I
already
would have
been like
thought you
fully
watched it,
invested
like
in.
to be honest. Like you're that type of
No.
guy that this is your shit. Like when
Yeah. And I
like
love the boys. I watched all the boys. I watched all of
right.
Gen V. Like I
Hmm.
love those shows, but I for whatever reason I did not get into Invincible. So I'm excited for it. I have a friend Brian over in Ireland that like loves Invincible, and
Hmm.
he always talks about it and how excited he is for this show. So I know there's a lot of people looking forward to it, and I'm not sure is this
Yeah.
the final season of it or is like this it because there's the books aren't a lot like.
Well, no, there's not. But this is supposed to be it, the way how it's going. I haven't read the books either, but from when people tell me, they say like this is gonna be the one that
This
I
is like a
think
big
ends.
multiversal like
Yeah,
war
so
where
this
like
is
he's
basic. This is like the end game of fucking
yeah.
Invincible right now,
Yeah, that's kind of what I
basically.
got. The gist
Hmm.
I got out of like watching the trailer for it is that like
Hmm.
he's going to be killing other versions of himself and like multiversal stuff going on.
Yeah, and his dad comes back.
Yeah, yeah,
All
Omni
types of
Man.
stuff that happens.
I have seen that
Um,
fight. I've seen them fight, and like that whole clip
Yeah,
from
that that.
the first season.
So so this is what I mean. Like, so that was in the first season, and then season two was like, it was more like character development, learning,
Furthering the
relationships
story.
and stuff like that. Yeah. Then season three came, and it was like a little bit of everything. But the ending of that was insane because we get another battle just like that with somebody else in the story,
Okay.
and from there it just kind of like sets off the whole battle with Crag now, and he's another one of the like he's from the same species as Omni Man and Invincible is from, so he'll be fighting against about him now, and he'll need the rest of the team members there. People die in season three. It was really great. So
And
this
isn't there like
season
a,
four,
I know like just from overhearing things in bits and pieces, there's like a storyline of him leaving somebody behind from like one of the other seasons that's going to come back into play for this one, right? Like a girl that he left behind or a love interest or
yes,
something. So
that's what happens towards the end of season three, and it will rekindle. I
I'm
I
here.
think it
I'm
is.
here for like superhero stuff with romance in it. Like we don't get any in Star Wars anymore. Like the only romance we've gotten as of recently in Star Wars was Quinlan Voss and Asajj Ventress, and like that was it. There's
Well, there's
even
stuff with and Andor too, kind of.
yes, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I still thought in Andor Clea was going to be revealed to be his sister, and like that was going to be the big like, oh my god! But they didn't. They didn't go that way. But I'm sorry, I got us off topic with that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. But I was just about to move back to the other topic because we spoke about Andor, and we can get into these Grammy nomies.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into the Grammy nomies.
So the Oscar nominations, Sinners
Go
sets
ahead.
a record for the most nominations with 16 in total.
Let's go.
Congratulations to that whole cast, crew, and everybody involved in making that movie because I love that movie. It's was my number one movie of last year. I
Facts.
really loved it, top to bottom. I can't count how many times I've watched it so far, but
Facts.
yeah, for me,
They're supposed to be having a re-release of that, right?
I think it
Or
already went back up on
or did it? What did it back up?
they
Okay.
they put like a new banner up on HBO Max for it that's got like Oscar nominee and da da
Oh,
da
okay.
da on it.
No, but I'm
So
saying like in theaters. Isn't that supposed to be a
I
re-release
don't
in
know.
theaters?
Maybe they do put it back out just for the case.
They
But
should,
some of the
because
other
I never
things
got to see it in that format, the IMAX format.
they're nominated for quite a lot of categories, and the
Yeah, let's
one the
talk about
one
that.
that like originally I thought they were going to be like have on lock would have been soundtrack, right? Because soundtrack, they killed it. All that original music that they did, Ludwig, whatever, the guy that from Mandalorian, he composed a
And,
lot of that.
and Black Panther, yeah.
So, like, I thought for sure they would have had that in the bag, but they are going up against K-pop Demon Hunters, which is the number one song in the entire world right now, like on charts.
Ooh.
So, I unfortunately do not think they have a chance of winning the best soundtrack. Unfortunately,
That's hard. That's
best
hard.
best actor Michael B. Jordan is going up against Leonardo DiCaprio for one battle after another, which, as we talked about last week, I was not a fan of the movie. But I could
Right.
understand why Leo would be thought to
Because
win.
it's Leo, right? But
Yes,
but
and
but it
he
ain't.
never he's never played that type of role. He played like a degenerate stoner, type guy. But Michael B. Jordan technically played three roles in the movie. If you're talking
Yeah,
about like both his
that part.
brothers and then the future version of himself, later on
Hmm.
at the end of the movie. So like, I don't know how you could take that one away from him. To me, that's the one I feel like they have to win. They can win best movie of the year. They can win some of the other supporting roles, like the lady from Loki that played Michael, the one brother's love interest, and the voodoo priestess in
Hmm.
Sinners. She's
Hmm.
nominated. Um, so
But
they
for what in female category?
I believe a
In female,
supporting actress. I think that's what she's nominated for.
I gotta get these people's names right.
Yeah.
But I will say the girl from in one battle after another, the
Mm.
daughter.
Mm.
If she is considered in a supporting actress role, because I know they want to give Tiana Taylor all her flowers.
No, I think Tiana
She,
Taylor is the supporting actress.
she is a supporting actress.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think Tiana
because I
Taylor's
feel
the
like the
one up.
girl in that movie was way better than Tiana Taylor
But
in
yeah,
her.
no, I for sure. She was in way more of the movie too. Tiana Taylor's in like 10 minutes of that whole entire movie. So like to me, again, I didn't like the movie. I didn't care for her performance in it. Um the daughter though, I would absolutely be up for her winning something. I know Dakota Fanning, Elle Fanning, she's up for best actress. and Kate Hudson for another movie that like I had no idea even came out, which I haven't seen Kate Hudson in anything. So
Right, right, right.
there's like that's the thing with these award shows is like it's not necessarily going off like the most successful movies of the year or the best. They cater more to the artsy crowd and like the basically who lines whose pockets and who paid who
Hmm.
to get nominated. That's kind of the unfortunate thing with some of these award shows is that we're gonna see a lot of great fantastic movies that either got snubbed or aren't gonna win. You know what I mean?
To make sure that's right, because I want to say her name is Chase Infinity is the actress who plays uh William Ferguson, which is Leo's
Daughter.
daughter in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's her name. She deserves to get all the trophies that night.
Especially out of that movie. Like if that movie's gonna win stuff, I would give them to her over
I got to
anybody in
rewatch
that
the
movie.
ending of that shit, and that shit was insane with the car that flipped and she fucking killed dude. Like that was
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. It was like I said. I just by the time I got to that point of the movie, I was ready for it to be over. I was just like, all right, I'm done with this. Like,
I
just get us there to the end. And then Leo just kind of pulls up and is just like, hey, what's going on?
yeah.
So like, I can see why people think like he's gonna win. I really hope Michael B. Jordan. Like, I feel like he'd be robbed
Nah,
if he did
I
not
need.
get this award.
Not only that though, but I also feel like because they are kind of already in that mindset already that this isn't the next time we'll see them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they have so much things being planned going forward from here on out. To get that 16 noms and the Academy to even give you 16 nominations says a lot
Well, the
in that.
Ryan Coogler has said that he didn't have plans to do a sequel to this movie at all. But HBO is going Warner Brothers is going to do a sequel to this movie with or without him.
No, they damn right you were.
This movie was so successful and made them so much money. It was one of their most successful movies they had all year.
Hmm.
That Warner Brothers, regardless of this whole Netflix thing and how that all shakes out, um, they're gonna make a sequel to this movie with or without Ryan Coogler and his blessing because
Hmm.
obviously they own this now. Like he sold it to them when they made the original movie. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
No,
I
they're
would like to
definitely
see
doing that.
I would like to see Coogler come back obviously and do it. I know he's working on his X-Files show. He's going to be doing an X-Files show. I'm from what I've heard that's going to involve bringing
Nice.
a lot of the original cast back, but I'm not 100% sure.
I know that when I had heard an interview that before Michael B. Jordan knew anything about the show, the movie, that he had came to him with a movie idea that he had, but then uh Ryan was like, "Well, let me tell you about this," and that this was Sinners, and so that's why I say like I feel like this next project they do because he's gonna be in anything he does. This might be that Jordan idea that he brought up, and I'm
It's
excited for that.
possible, yeah, because I still have a feeling that Jonathan Majors was originally slotted to play one of the brothers for this movie
Hell
originally,
yeah,
and then just
yeah.
because of what happened, Michael B. Jordan ended up saying, I'll play both brothers then and just do
Hmm.
it that way." Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, the way it all worked out, I really sincerely hope he wins. I hope they win at least. I know they'll probably win for costumes or something along the lines, but I hope they win like one of the big ones.
The lady I also heard that the lady who did the costume designs, she's also the same lady who did the costume designs for Black Panther and I think
Well,
Wicked and stuff like that.
the thing for Sinners is a lot of those costumes were made for the Blade movie, and basically Marvel never went forward with the Blade movie, so Ryan Coogler took the costumes and used them for Sinners. That's what happened.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a gem
yeah.
right there. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
all those costumes were pretty much made for the Blade movie because the Blade movie originally was going to be a period piece set in that time. It was going to be set around slavery and that's why the movie kind of never went forward because it never got you to the present time Blade. It was more set as a period piece. So one of the
Mm,
many problems with the Blade movie and why it never happened.
yeah, that's crazy, dog.
But
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it. I didn't see Marty Supreme or
Neither did
I
I.
I know they're trying to crown Timothy
And
Chalamet. He's good in a lot of the stuff that he's in. He's dating one of the Kardashians, so of course he's always in the
he's gonna
news
be out there.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, they hyped this movie up before this movie even came out. So like
And
they
I
were
don't get
giving him
how.
awards for stuff that a movie that didn't wasn't even released into the public yet. So to me, that kind of screams like somebody paid somebody along the way, but
Right.
allegedly.
But I don't get how that movie even is accepted into these awards. Like the Oscars make sense because we have until March for that.
Well,
But
that's
but
kind of
like
what I mean. Yeah.
the Golden Globe stuff, like the movie had just came out like not even a week before I think the Golden Globes or
The
so.
movie,
It was
the
still
movie,
like
I don't even think was out when he won the award. Like he won the award, and the movie was not released to the public. It had only been like privately screened and like premiered. That was it.
yeah.
So
That part has been
that
really weird to
screams
me.
somebody putting something in
Mhm.
somebody's pocket.
Right. Right.
That's
You know how
Hollywood
that
though.
goes.
That's
Yeah,
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
That's Hollywood. Speaking of Hollywood,
Um.
we had a record for Game of Thrones with Night of the Seven
mm.
Kingdoms having the third highest debut on HBO with 6.7 million viewers. So House of the Dragons and Last of Us are the other two shows that sit in those number 1 and 2 slots. So big news for the show. Did you end up getting around to watching it?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay.
And the first thing that drew me was just cinematically the way how this movie looks. I love the fact that everything's not so dark, like we've seen in previous Game of Thrones series where we can't see it, and just the moment the show starts, it's just all up in your face. I love the like jokey and like not so seriousness to it.
I was just about to say the opening scene of like the build up to the Game of Thrones theme
Mhm.
coming, and you're getting hyped, and you're like, yes, it's coming, it's about to hit, the beat's about to drop, and then they show him just shooting behind a tree and like cut to it, and I thought that was funny. I literally laughed out loud when that happened because I wasn't sure if it was a shot at DMB who made Game of Thrones and just being like, yeah, you shit all over the ending, so like this is us shitting all over you now
Mhm.
for what
Mhm.
happened, or because you
Ooh,
kind
I
of
didn't even think about that.
you kind of shit all over George in the process and his stuff, and so
Yeah.
that's how I took it. And from what George said when he saw the initial screener, he didn't really get why that was in there, but like he just kind of played it off like the guy that
Yeah.
is the showrunner wanted that scene in there for a reason. So I thought that was funny, but I love the kid that's playing Egg. Like he is so good
Yeah,
and
he's good.
so perfect in this role. And Sir Dunk, even though he's a little small, because I think the actor that's playing him is only 6'7" or 6'6". Dunk's supposed to be over 7 feet. So that he's kind of the reason why Brienne of Tarth is so big because she's part of his descendancy and his bloodline.
When I went to NYC Comic Con and I went to the panel for this when they first showed us the trailer, and I seen the kid talking and stuff. The kid is like so excited about the role and stuff like that. But in a way, because I hear him talk and I hear the youthfulness in him, when I was thinking about how the show was going to be, I thought he was going to be way more like childish and like youthful in the show. But in the show, he's like straight up professional acting his role. Like he's kind of blowing me away because how serious he's taking his role, that I'm just like, okay, I was not expecting that. Like you are seriously talented, kid. Shout out to you.
And
But
they did this perfectly too
yeah.
with the fact that the kid is going to age like perfect. So if they're going to do this show every other year, they're going to film it every other year and progress it. We have definitely 3 planned seasons because that's the novellas that are done so
Mhm.
far. And then they can continue with George's story that's already been established through like Fire and Blood and those types of books where like what happens to Egg and what happens to Sir Duncan. I feel like they could like really pull this show off well, where like that kid is going to be the right age for all of these things as the show goes on until we
Mhm.
get to the eventual point. I said it last week. I won't say it again. So if you want to be surprised, but this episode that's going to air on Sunday, by the time you hear this podcast, the episode would have already aired. So I will say it then. This will
Mhm.
be the episode that we find out who Egg actually is.
Mhm.
This is kind of when things take place at this tournament that we saw in the first episode, and how things start to spiral out of control for Sir Dunk at this tournament.
Yeah.
And I gotta say,
I do like.
the guy who's playing the Baratheon, the laughing madness, or I forget what his nickname is. He
Mhm.
is so great. I thought
Mhm.
he was absolutely perfect, and he reminds me exactly of how he's portrayed in the books, and reminds me of Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones, because obviously he's his earlier relative. So to have some of those similar traits in the character was really awesome
He
for
was
me.
the guy who he was dancing with in that tent, right?
Yeah, he's the one
Yeah.
with
Okay.
the deer antler horns. House Baratheon
Right.
is the stag. So
Hmm.
currently he is the Baratheon that sits, as the head of the House of Baratheon. And he was great. He's going to be a big part of the story going forward, and like what happens this whole entire season. He's also a big part of Sir Duncan Egg's whole entire arc. There's tons of stuff that happens with him because he kind of stays one of their long-term allies until he isn't later on, when Egg is grown and an adult. So it pretty cool.
That scene where Duncan is going, he's leaving because the gypsies told him like save yourself, my dude. Like you don't even want none of this smoke,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah. Our
leaving,
bodies are
and
our only thing we have,
yeah,
or something they say. Yeah.
yeah. He's leaving and he sees the two knights fighting and the one dude, I guess they're cousins, and he's beating the shit out of his cousin. And he's like, "What are you looking at?" And he just bitches up. And I was just like, yo, you are 7 feet tall, my dude. You can destroy this dude like right now. Just toss him around.
Well, and
I
that's why the
hope they get I hope they get a one-on-one in the show.
so they will he will end up squaring off the cousin that like kind of befriended him and took him to Baratheon's tent later on in the episode.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a big ally to Dunk throughout this show. I forget the I know the crest is an apple, and they have a lot of like little apple puns and jokes that they make. Like he tells him like, I might not be ripe yet, sir, but my cousin's rotten to the core, and like so a lot of like apple puns because that is their thing. But he's going to play a big role, as will his cousin. His cousin basically is going to be part of the tournament that Dunk's going to be involved in going forward. So you'll kind of see this tournament doesn't go how like it's being set up to go so far. So like we see how it was established in the first episode of like he's just trying to get somebody to co-sign that remembers his
His master.
his master. So
Yeah.
you're going to see how that all plays out and like what eventually happens, and how this tournament kind of takes a turn from going one way to now being a whole different type of tournament, and it really gets really crazy in the next couple episodes, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, on top of the fact that we got the cinematic of this looking great, I was really, really interested. I was really surprised on how interesting it is without having any dragon in this
Mm-hmm.
show. I
Yeah,
love how they show like the little puppet show that they have where they have the dragon there and stuff like that.
and
But
that'll
with the
become
fact,
important in the next episode. That puppet show and that dragon that's in that puppet show will be
yeah.
very important in the second episode.
Oh, dope. Yeah, and I just find it how impressive it is and not boring to me that this is what it is. I really wish the show was longer now because now that I watched the first episode, I'm like, damn, now I want long Game of Thrones because I'm into this shit and it's like looking at it.
Honestly, this could have been a movie. Like they could have just shot this and dropped this all at once and edited all the episodes together, because that's what this season essentially is going to be. It's going to be one 6 episode, couple hour when it's all said and done, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I think, when it's all said and done. So like they could have dropped this and edited this all as a movie. I'm sure somebody will online, because that seems to be the trend with some of these shows. But yeah, they could have dropped it that way and it would have been fine. But I'm okay with it. Like I said, this whole first season is just going to be this story. It's just going to be the first novella, and then the second season will be the second one and third.
So, question in the books, how many of these books with Duncan Egg is there?
So there's three graphic novels slash short stories. That's all they are. They're graphic novels that George basically did with this kind of side story that he had in mind, and
Yeah.
then it kind of spiraled out into like its own little universe. And then, like I said, George has plans for other stories. He said basically the goal is to get them to Winterfell. They haven't been in Winterfell. They've kind of been making their way to the north as the books have been go on, and different stuff happens to kind of keep them from getting to Winterfell, which is at the top. He's Egg's trying to get to the wall because that's they want to get up there and see it, and so there's a part of the story that kind of plays into it. because Egg knows about the Targaryen. If you've seen House of the Dragons, you know the blade, and when it's heated up into the fire, you see the prophecy written on the blade. Egg is familiar with that prophecy, and you know the dragon dream of the dragons coming back, and like what the Targaryen legacy means about defending the realm from this other thing. So Egg kind of he wants to get to Winterfell so he can kind of gauge and see like what's coming, or kind of have a feel of like, all right, how do I defend against this if I'm the one to stop it, not knowing
Mhm.
that it's going to happen, you know, a lot later on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's kind of where like their story eventually goes until Egg eventually becomes king. And like the way the line of succession works, Egg's like a way out from being king. He's not even like the next in line. it it
Mhm.
kind of it kind of staggers as this show goes on, and you kind of see a couple of the players that are supposed to be like next in line for the throne kind of get knocked off. And then as
Mhm.
the show goes on, again, you kind of see more of the Blackfire Rebellion and more of these different people fighting for different things. And as the line of succession kind of starts getting thin, Egg ends up getting pushed to the top of the list. And it basically comes down to him and Brendan Rivers, who is Bloodraven, who is his uncle. And a lot of Game of Thrones fans would know him as the Three-Eyed Raven. He's the one that helps Bran above the wall and has the visions and shows Bran how to talk through the
Mm.
trees. So
Mm. Right.
basically, it comes down to Bloodraven or Egg, and Bloodraven beheads a guy and uses his head like as a tribute in front of all these people to like basically make his claim. And because of that, they go with Egg, and they vote Egg as king. And so he's the unlikely king, but he ends up being a decent ruler. He's just not one of the Targaryens that a lot of people, you know, followed. He wasn't a powerful Targaryen. He wasn't rule with strength because of his adventures with Sir Dunk and all the time they spent together. He feels for the common people and understands their struggle because he lived it, and that's what made him a good ruler. But it makes the people that are powerful in Westeros not like him because of that. So it's kind of cool. And eventually Dunk does get knighted like as a Targaryen and becomes one of his Kingsguard. So like they give him the surname of Targaryen at one point, which is pretty cool. So it's they basically essentially become family because they've spent all these years and time together since Egg was a little child. So it's pretty awesome. Like when you look at the big scope of the story.
Yeah. Yes, I'm loving it so far. I can't wait for episode 2 to drop. And speaking of, what do you want to call this? Numbers and amazing viewership. Wonder Man getting his 92% on Rotten Tomato.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not the only one looking out for this show.
let's see how it does once people actually get to see it, because that'll really be the
But
judge.
that's coming from the critics.
It's
That's
not the
coming from
Disney shows
critics.
though. It's not the Disney shows getting, you know, reviewing it when the people actually get to see it. So we'll see how actual regular folks review the show when they get
Hey,
to see
listen,
it.
I've seen some content creators that I was, give my credit to, that went to the premiere, and most of them have said this
Good
show is
things.
great.
I've heard good things. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they said that don't expect there to be a lot of action in the beginning, but this is just like a normal show what if an actor was trying to become an actor in an MCU surrounded universe.
Hmm.
So
Making
I'm
a
all here for that.
superhero movie in an
Mhm.
MCU
And
universe. That's basically what it
correct.
is. Yeah.
Hmm.
And from what I've heard, Ben Kingsley's character really, like, you get a full circle moment for him coming back and going through all of that. So that'll be cool, I guess. Again, I really don't care about the show at all, but it is what it is. I probably still won't watch it regardless of the reviews.
You know,
But
this guy's a savage. He's such
I
a
just really don't
fucking
care about Wonder
savage.
Man or like what they're gonna do with the show. Like it doesn't matter to me.
Yo, yo,
Listen,
what did I don't know if I told you this, but like, it doesn't make you, no pun intended, wonder what's gonna happen in the end.
no, no, not at all.
What if this is the introduction to
It being in the
to
MCU, I still don't care.
no, no, that it's an introduction to like a West Coast Avengers, or like
I still don't care.
wow,
I
wow,
still don't care. Yeah, no, I'm good.
wow.
Skip War Machine led Avengers. I don't need it. Like Hawkeye's not coming back already as it is, so it'll be Kate Bishop instead of Clint
Yeah.
Barton. I'm good
Uh,
with all that. I don't need them to be a team. I don't need to see them in the movies. No, no. You can like have a little blurb someplace about like the West Coast Avengers are over on the West Coast doing their thing, but I don't need to see them at all. Like just leave them over there in California and we're good. Like
that's crazy. Yo, I don't know why this man got so much hate for these MCU shows, but we're gonna
because
at some point at the end of the year we're gonna have a sit down and be like,
well,
so
we'll
this
see
is what
when Doomsday
happened.
comes out. Well, when
Yes,
Doomsday comes out, if Doomsday is like the best movie in the world, then yeah, I'll be like, hey, it was great. Like I was wrong, but as of right now, man, I'm still like so on the fence about this movie. They're doing so much to like put this over a year out. That's worrisome with a lot
it
of
is a
stuff.
little insane without having a Spider-Man trailer out first, which is
Yes,
first.
and supposedly we were going to get that this week, and we didn't. So like that's the
I
one
didn't
I'm really
believe that.
looking forward to.
I
And
didn't
I
believe that.
keep hearing that like that's why Tom Holland's not in Doomsday is because Andrew Garfield's in Doomsday, and that's why like they're kind of keeping them separate because we'll get Tom Holland in Secret Wars and we'll get Garfield in Doomsday. I don't know how true that is again, but that's been
Mhm.
like the rumor and people mentioning stuff.
Not bad. I mean, I also knew that trailer wasn't coming either because we got Wonder Man coming out, and they're both the same directors. So he's not gonna shit on something and switch gears when he has his TV show coming out in a couple days. That
Wait,
made no fucking sense.
this is the same guy that did Shang-Chi?
Yeah,
That did Wonder Man?
yeah,
I didn't know that. I knew he did
yeah,
Spider Man. I didn't know he did this too.
yeah, man. He did that, which is why I say the whole thing with West Coast Avengers, which is why my other two options was that we might get a cameo with Shang-Chi, or maybe this somehow connects
Well,
with fucking Spider-Man.
Shang Chi got to do something in this next movie because like they built him up to be something special too, and like he's hasn't been in anything. Like he didn't even get a cameo in She Hulk. Like that's saying something.
I thought I for sure thought he was gonna be at least I thought they were gonna connect it to whatchamacallit, Strange too, but he didn't. They
Well,
didn't
yeah,
even do
they're not
that.
even they didn't even do a strange a new Doctor Strange after that. Yeah, like well that's the big mystery with Strange too is like how's he going to show up when the last time you saw him is him and Clea were off doing their own thing and now he's got a third eye on his head. It's like all those characters, Wanda too. You kind of left Wanda out there. Like maybe Vision Quest brings her back in time
I got breaking news on that one too.
for that, but I don't care. I don't care about.
I was saying breaking news. They did say that she might be getting a show. It's a rumor.
They like they
They
did
want
it
to
to
do it in the mutant
themselves.
saga. They want to wait
Oh,
for the
see,
mutant
no, get
saga to
her
come
away.
through.
Get her away from the X Men, please. Get her away because all she's done in the comics is destroyed X Men continuality for the whole entire 1990s.
That's her
Like
shit, man.
I don't need
That's
her. Like that's why
what she does.
I stay with the title. I love the nickname The Great Pretender for Wanda. They give her a different name when she fixes things later on, but I
Hmm.
love that she's called The Great Pretender. I think that's exactly what she is as a character. Like
Hmm.
they move her from one thing to another and make her something that she doesn't need to be. And it's like I would have been fine if she was Magneto's daughter and she was a mutant, but they've gone back and forth on it so many times that like I don't care anymore. Like I don't
Hmm.
need anything with Wanda in it. Elizabeth Olsen can stay away. They can leave Wanda the way they left her at the end of Multiverse of
It's a lot
Madness,
of people
being
that love
a
her as a
crazy
character,
mother.
though.
Oh, I know, and they've done all these
That's the
things with
thing.
like Agatha. Like Agatha, I thought for sure she was going to come back in Agatha. I liked the
Hmm.
Agatha show. I thought that was decent, but I would have liked another season of that before we got a Vision show. Like, I get it. It's supposed to be like the third
More than
show.
Vision? You would rather
Yeah,
an Agatha before Vision?
absolutely. I don't. Vision's another character. I don't. West Coast
Yeah,
Avengers,
but
man. I don't care. Like they're.
but but given the stuff that Vision has gone through,
We didn't need
and
a
just
show.
knowing the both of them, a Vision show would be a lot more entertaining, especially from what I heard from the director saying that this is basically like the MCU taking their take on AI right now.
Yeah, it is, and we're gonna see Ultron, James Spader's coming back, and some of the other AIs that were in some of the other movies, some of Tony's other AIs, and some of the other Android stuff is all going to be live action in this. Apparently, I don't know how. It might be a dream sequence, or it might be part of Vision's consciousness. But yeah, I didn't need a show. Like, we could have wrapped this all up in WandaVision with him and her and been done with all this. I didn't need Agatha, and I didn't need this show to do that. Like, to me, that's what WandaVision was so disappointing. I know a lot of people enjoyed it. For me, it was just like, I didn't need 4 or 5 episodes of let's just spoof all these TV sitcoms and not go anywhere with the story. So, like, to me, it was just like, I would have rather them just address their whole issues in
Yeah,
that
but you got to
first
say from
original
a movie
show.
perspective,
It was cool concept,
seeing
cool
those
idea.
concepts,
Yeah, cool concept, cool idea. Did I need it to last as long as it did? No, it would have worked in one episode where you just went one episode spoofing on a bunch of comedies of like, haha, we're making a joke out of this, and then we'll get to the story. But I didn't need it to go on for as long as it did, where it took up literally the whole season until we got to the end, and it was just kind of like, all right, yeah, I could have told you this from the beginning. So
But that was, but it did fuck with your mind every so often, especially the whole thing with Agatha and
hmm.
her just playing in the background.
You
That
kind of
was
knew
awesome.
though, like I kind of knew again by like the second episode that she was Agatha, like, and kind of was like, oh, this is what we're doing with this, and like it's
But not everybody's the average comic consumer, and
yes, I know that,
so
and that's
not
what I'm
everybody
saying.
knows
So
that.
like for me, it's stuff like that. Sometimes I wish we'd do a little less breadcrumbing and a little bit more of just getting to the point. And I think that's Marvel's problem as a whole. Was like, I don't need this long drawn out thing. Just explain the story and let's get the meat and potatoes of it, and let's move on.
Hmm.
Like, I don't need a lot of these shows and a lot of these things that they've done, and this has been their detriment, is a lot of these things could have been 2 hour movies that I could have watched rather than I have to dedicate 6 weeks or 8 weeks to watching a show that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't have a premise. They all follow the same exact
Hmm.
platform and model where the first 2 episodes are pretty good for the most part on most of these shows. They get you excited, they get you ramped up, you're looking forward to what happens, and then episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 go absolutely nowhere or drag out the storyline, and then you get your big finale where they squeeze 10 pounds of shit into a 5 pound bag, and it's like you never get all the answers to all the questions. You never get an ending that feels satisfying, and you always kind of feel like you're like they're insulting my intelligence because I just watched you guys do this again for the 12th time with another show
Hmm.
and another property.
Hmm.
It's the same model, and it's like it's
Hmm.
become the Disney streaming model, which is unfortunate, and that's another problem that they're having on their end. You know what I mean?
Hmm. No, that's
So
valid. Valid for sure. Which is why I'm happy that Wonder Man is just a straight drop. You could just
yeah,
binge
yeah,
it and be
we'll get it
done.
over with. It'll be quick,
Yeah.
and 6 episodes or 8 episodes, whatever it is, like it'll be over pretty quick to get through. I'll
Which is good on our
probably
part.
honestly, I'll probably
Mm.
just like watch a YouTube video that's like a 10-minute YouTube video that breaks down the whole entire show real quick and be done with
Mhm.
it. Like, I don't need to watch the series. I don't really need to be enthralled in it like that. It's just not important to me. Again, because
Yeah,
Wonder
yeah, I'm
Man.
here for you. If that isn't, I'm here for you. Yeah,
I
don't worry
would
about it.
I would have preferred him to be Black Panther, honestly. Like that to me, like that was
Whoa, whoa! We
yeah.
can't disrespect Chadwick like that.
Yeah, no, they should have recasted Black Panther. We could talk about it now if you want. That was their biggest mistake of the whole MCU was not recasting him.
Over Chadwick Boseman, you saying
No,
right
no,
now?
I'm talking about after what happened to Chadwick.
After Chadwick,
Black Panther
got you,
2 should have
got you,
been this guy playing Wonder
got you.
Man and or Michael B. Jordan, whatever way you wanted to go, whether it was Killmonger or you wanted to bring a new just recast them all together and move forward. It's what they should have
Hmm.
done. They built their whole next
Well, that's what
phase on
they're
Black
doing that
Panther.
now.
Well, we don't know that for sure. That's the rumor is that this
It's
Idris guy is
happening.
going to play Black
It's
Panther
happening.
in Secret Wars, but
Mhm.
to me, like you had the guy that played Ocean Master and killed it in 2 shitty ass Aquaman movies. He was the best thing out of both those movies, and like you could have had him being your T'Challa, and you put him as Wonder Man, Simon Williams, like of all people, like what a swing and a miss for me in that regard. Like
I
of
don't know. You can't. This is a legend, so I mean, because we
maybe
still haven't seen
he
you
could be
haven't seen
great in it.
Wonder
That's what
Man
I'm
yet.
saying. Like he could be
Exactly.
absolutely fantastic. He could kill the show. He could be the best there is. But again, like, could you have made him somebody more high profile? Could you put him in a better position for something? Like, yes, absolutely. He's a fantastic actor. So that's where my gripe comes from. Of
Right,
yeah,
right.
I think you swung and you missed on this by putting him as such like a low level character that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
You're right. We did that. Oh, we did that. I like that. Um, all right. Quick. Let's do a quick. Since we went in on on the Marvel stuff right there. We got two DC newses for y'all. Um, and I'll let you lead this, but supposedly we have a writer for Batman Brave and the Bold. Script new writer is supposed to be Christine Hodson.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead, take it away, Ed, because that's all I know from that part.
So she is the same writer that wrote the Flash film. That was an awful garbage movie. She also wrote the Batgirl script. That was the Batgirl film that has never been shown and got shelved by Warner Brothers. So
Mm.
I
That's
don't know.
interesting to know, though.
I don't know where this is coming from. So like Andy Muschietti, the guy who him and his sister are the co-producers, they're the ones doing this Batman Brave and the Bold movie. They're the same people that just did the It Welcome to Derry show, which was so fantastic. So I don't
Mm.
necessarily know why this lady's writing the script and they're not. I don't, maybe they don't write scripts and somebody else wrote the It show for them. I'm not 100% sure on that. But
Mm.
as far as I knew, we already had a Brave and the Bold script talking about like
Hmm.
going years back. So what happened? Did you scrap that whole script and now we're getting a whole new one for a whole new concept? The original concept for Brave and the Bold and why it's called Brave and the Bold is it's after Grant Morrison's iconic Batman run, which in my opinion is the best Batman run in of all time. Like it goes Grant Morrison, Scott Snyder, and Greg Capullo for me, 1 and 2 of Batman runs. But
You ain't fucking with Dark Knight?
of who?
With Dark Knight?
What do you mean?
Frank
The
Miller? Frank
oh,
Miller joint?
that's not Frank Miller. That's Scott Snyder. That's part of his ending run of the Batman run. But I don't count Metal. It's a whole separate crossover thing. But Grant Morrison's run is iconic. Basically, what happens? Bruce Wayne dies. He introduces Damian Wayne, the son of Bruce and Talia al Ghul. Dick Grayson becomes Batman and trains Damian, and Dick and Damian are Batman and Robin at the time, with Bruce eventually coming back into the fold, and then Bruce has to deal with this estranged child that he's never met or never encountered with, and now has to train this killer kid who's an assassin who's trained by Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins to be Robin and not kill people. And that's what makes that whole entire comic run so special. So the fact that this is something that kind of a question that I had when we were watching the Superman movie of Superman's really young. Like you got a young Superman. You're going to have a Bruce Wayne that's already been through 3 Robins and then now has a son that's Robin. Like you would have to establish actually 4 Robins because you would have had to establish Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. You would have had to establish Dick Grayson, Nightwing. You would have had to establish Tim Drake, the third Robin. And you would have had to establish Jason Todd, the second Robin, who becomes Red Hood. So like that's a lot to put on like a Batman character to set up with your Superman of like Batman's must have been doing this now for 20 years then at this point, while Superman's only been active for 3. So like I think they're going back to the drawing board with that, and I'm not sure if we're going to get Damian or if they're going to bypass some of the other Robins and we're only going to get, which I hope they don't do, because seeing Jason Todd and Red Hood, seeing Dick Grayson and Nightwing, seeing Barbara Gordon, like those are characters I want to see. I know there's a rumor of a Dick Grayson and Nightwing show that they're doing that's going to be some kind of like animation
Yeah,
that's
I seen
going to
that
be
too on Amazon. Yeah.
going to be
Well,
in
it's the same people
continuality.
who did that. That did the Bat Family stuff, I think.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in continuality of like the
Mhm.
story of them and like their backstory and stuff like that. But I just my assumption is with a new writer now writing this script, that idea might be getting completely reworked from what it originally was, which worries me because again, that Grant Morrison run is so much fun for me and literally probably the best Batman run I've ever read.
When they said Batman Brave and the Bold, the first thing that came to mind, because I had never read the graphic novels, or yeah, the graphic novels. I thought about the TV show, and then
Well, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
knowing how that is, he's always teaming up with people. Then in Creature Commandos, we've seen like a silhouette of him, and he was bulky. So I was like, oh, okay, so they are doing that one that I'm thinking about. But you telling me that now it makes me rethink that, and that's a good point about them having to establish all these other Robins and things of that nature to match with what the novel brings out. But
And it's a
I think
problem
that,
when you're talking
yeah,
about, a Superman that's only been technically active for 3 years. When you start the Superman movie, that's what it says at the beginning of the movie, is that Superman's only been around for 3 years. We obviously know that there's other Justice League characters, and things have been the metahumans have been around since the beginning of time in the DC universe that James Gunn's established. So you could
hmm
have it where Batman's been Batman in Gotham for however long, and nobody really pays attention to it because they don't think he's real. Like, you could do that whole storyline, like, which is from the comics and New 52, of like Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, doesn't believe Batman's a real thing. He just hears stories about him and thinks it's like a fairy tale that people talk about. And then when he meets Batman, he's like, "You're real?" He's like, "What are your powers, man?" And he's like, "I'm just a normal guy." And he's like, "What do you mean you have no powers?" He's like, "I hear all
yeah,
these stories about you, and you're just a normal guy, like dressed in a suit. Like, come on, it can't
hmm
be real." Like, so
hmm
stuff like that, I would love to see them play off of, like in the DCU, and you can do it where like Bruce has told Guy Gardner and the Justice Gang to go fuck off already. Like, you know what I mean? And
hmm
Bruce Bruce joining up with Clark is what establishes the League, in my opinion. So like, I feel like you could definitely do that in this DCU of like, when Bruce actually joins them, that's when they go from the Justice Gang to the Justice League. And like,
His
that's
league, yeah,
when, the Hall of Justice is established and filled, and, Bruce puts all of his
looking like
money
the
and
real
tech
one.
into
Yeah,
it. So like, that would be fun. And I just feel like you have to establish that timeline of where Bruce is in his life. And if we're going to do Damian and we're going to have all these other Robins, you can't have it be like Bruce started taking on Robins at like 16 years old and is only 28. You know what I mean? Like he took
hmm
you can't have him. He's got to adopt Dick Grayson like after his parents died to be to become the first Robin. So he would have to be at least 18 at that point, 20 years old at the least, to
right.
adopt Dick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you have, Jason and Tim, and then Barbara being involved in there at some point too. And you can always do Barbara however. You could do her as a love interest, or you could do her as
The
she was just
Apprentice.
somebody who was kind of part
Yeah.
in the round. But
hmm
and like, you could even do it that Bruce and her grew up, and like Barbara and Bruce are the same age. Like, you could play around with that one. That one can be flexible in like however you're gonna do this, but I feel like you have to establish the timeline of the other Robins, and you have to have them in this for the Damian story to mean something, because the part of the Damian story and him learning to be Robin is not just knowing what he knows from his grandfather and his mom and the League of Assassins. It's what he
They
picks up
learn from
from all
Bruce.
these other Robins. Like, he learns so
Yeah.
much being like, Dick Grayson actually gets through to him as Batman, and like, they actually have a really good relationship in the books. And then when Bruce comes
Oof.
back and takes care of, takes over being Batman, Bruce and Damian just butt heads, because Bruce is like, "I fucking hate this kid. This kid's a little asshole." And
hmm
he keeps going to like, Nightwing, and it's like, "How did you form a relationship with him?" And Dick basically kind of tells him, is like, "You just gotta kind of let the kid be a kid. He's a kid. Like, he's not, he's a 13-year-old kid. Like, what do you want?" Like, and like,
It
if
reminds me
anyone,
of what I read in Night Fight
yeah,
recently in the
it
DCPO
plays off
stuff.
that a lot. Yeah.
hmm
And like, that's what,
with yeah, with hold on, with uh Nightwing playing off of him being the Batman now, and Bruce being like, "You're not really him," and he's like, "Yeah, but you just never let me be me, and you always wanted me to be like you. But if I was just me, I could have been a better you,"
yeah.
and
And that's
all
that's
that
what it
good
is.
stuff
That
that we
that's
just spoke
always
about. Yeah.
that's always been
hmm
like Nightwing's gist, is like, that's why he left and became Nightwing, was because he was gonna have to live in Bruce's shadow forever. And that's where Dick does such a good job of training Damian and like them getting along, is because Dick understands the whole entire process. Like, he lived it himself. He grew up in Bruce's house as Bruce's kid, and understood how that relationship went and why it went south. And so he relates to Damian a lot better. And Jason and Damian's relationship is really fantastic, because Jason's kind of he's the kid that Bruce always like adores because he's the one that got killed, but their relationship is always on shitty terms. So like him and Bruce are never, it's always rocky between them. So Damien, like
Right.
seeing that and like you're the fuck up out of the family, but he still loves you the most. And why is that? Like, why does my father love this kid who's the fuck up of the family like more than me? Or like, why does he treat you better than he treats me? And I'm his own kid. Like that whole dynamic and the way they grow is just, that's what I'm saying. Like to me, that's why I love that run so much. That whole entire run has so much of that little tidbits and them learning off one another. And you really, by the end, like love Damien as a kid. He goes from being like a little shit kid to being like, I kind of like this kid. Like I feel for him because I understand like the character.
Yeah, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be interesting. I don't know if the rumors are true, but I mean, if they're the ones who just did the it stuff, and she's the one who did the Flash stuff,
Well,
that's
this
totally
this
different things. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the director and his sister are the ones that are gonna be, that did the It show. They're the ones directing this film. The writer though, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like the last three projects she did weren't good or never saw the light of day. So why are we hiring her to write this Batman script? That's got to be the most epic Batman movie ever. Like I'm the person that doesn't care about the next Robert Pattinson Batman movie. Like you could have not done that move Batman Part 2 for me and I wouldn't have cared at all one way or another. I'm ready for the DCU Batman and how this is going to incorporate with the overall DCU cuz that's what I moved on to now. I'm not on this old Snyder universe. I'm not on this Robert Pattinson universe. Like we could have moved on from all of this already. I don't need them to. I feel it's confusing for them to do this next Pattinson movie because of the fact of like
oh, just think of it
you've
as a
already,
Batman movie
but it's
not
not.
being
It,
connected to DCU.
but see, that's the problem from regular folks that aren't comic people or aren't in the know. They're going to go into this movie thinking, oh, this goes in with the Superman movie when it doesn't. You have to watch a whole
I
separate
get that
Batman
too, but
movie. And that's confusing to people. That's going to,
mm,
people are going to go into the next Batman movie after and be like, where's Robert Pattinson? Why isn't he Batman? It's like, because he's not the DCU Batman. Like
mhm.
it's
I
confusing
know what you
for
mean, and it's
every
already been like that already with Batman in
Yep,
general.
yeah,
Just
and
having to explain it.
that's what I mean. And like even when the Battinson movie came out, it's like, where's Ben Affleck? And it's like, well, they're doing something different, and it's like, oh well. And then people loved Penguin. That's the I feel like that's the
That's what I meant to
problem.
say. Thank you. Because how do you still feel the same way knowing how amazing Penguin was,
Yes,
and people not
because
having seen no Batman
all I
and
would
getting
have
a
done
Batman Part Two would be great.
all I would have done was rolled Colin Farrell over to the new universe and just called it a day. If that was the like there was no new
Yeah.
Batman, new DCU, Penguin being Penguin. Like and I feel like that's what kind of put them in this hole. I don't feel like this Batman Part 2 movie was going to get made. I think they were going to skip over it. And because Penguin
Hmm.
did so well, they're like, oh, fuck.
Hmm.
Well,
Fuck, we have to make
now
it.
Warner Brothers wants season 2 of Penguin. And in order to do season 2 of Penguin, we have to make Batman 2 because it's all tied together. So I feel like it went hand in hand. And like, that's the position they're in now of like, well, now we have to do it. And then we'll just focus on our own Brave and the Bold Batman after the fact. And it's like, all right, cool. This is where you guys are at. Like, hopefully it works out.
Yeah. In other DC news, we get our first look at Lobo and Supergirl. And Jason Momoa. He looks amazing. He looks
Yes.
just like he's supposed to look.
Yeah. I loved the video. I
I'm
thought it was
excited.
so cool. Him coming out of the trailer, lighting up a cigar and
Hmm.
hopping on the bike and then the transition happens, putting him as Lobo. I think he looked fantastic. You sent me a video of somebody saying like, look how they massacred my boy. And I was just like, there's no way. Like he looks so great. I'm excited for
Yeah.
Supergirl. He's not in the original book. So like, it's going to be interesting to see how he's incorporated into the movie. So yeah,
Yeah, but when
I'm
you think
looking
about
forward
the
to it.
book
Oh,
and
it's very
his
easy.
character, yeah,
Yes,
it's very easy
yeah,
to put
yeah.
him
It's
in.
very
Yeah.
easy to put him in. I'm just wondering, is he going to be like a bounty hunter chasing after her, or is he going to be like somebody who eventually becomes an ally to her by the end of the movie? Like,
Right.
which way do they do Lobo? That's going to be the interesting part. Or is he just like a cameo for like a couple, a little bit of the movie, like in a little part? So it's yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. I'm excited for it. I read in the last DCKO issue in the end they showed you like a couple they called you like a couple pages from that bar scene that you see in the trailer, but from the comic version, and it seems one to one. So so far this movie's just looking just like a copy and paste for the
Well,
most part.
and 2 weeks ago they released that as one of the DC Compact comics, so you can go and buy that for $10 and get the whole entire Woman of Tomorrow book or
Hmm.
Supergirl book, and read that now, and yeah, go into that knowing what's going to happen in the movie, at least from the synopsis or from the actual graphic novel. That's one thing I love about those compact editions. For $10, you can't go wrong on picking up some classic full stories, from DC. It's fantastic.
That's a perfect segue because
Yes, I was going to say,
we're
speaking of
as
comics.
we're running close to our time, so I want to get into our comics. This is like a bread and butter. I'll go first. I don't have my comics with me right now because I'm just currently recording, not in my normal spot. I'm away, but I did get to catch on all my subscriptions. I got the new Captain America by Zerdesky that I spoke about before. I believe this is issue 5, and we're going into the beginning of the Doom Shadow storyline, and it's also the beginning of the whole Armageddon event that Zerdesky is doing. That they have like a cover. There's like going to be a cover with him with Hulk and Wolverine being involved in this now, and it's supposed to be like the whole another big event or whatever. I really want Marvel to have their big event like DCK was having. So I'm only to think that this is going to be hype, but this is probably the number one thing on my list right now. I've been loving this series just like from the beginning. I started it just randomly, just off the whim of recommendation, and this has been like one of my favorite comics right now. This and Planet She-Hulk. And yeah, so that is one. Those are the two that I've really been enjoying so far.
The big Marvel crossover will be in the summertime. That's usually when they do it. That's usually their big annual crossover, line wide. So they are already teeing it up, and it does like span out of that Captain America series that you're reading. So I'm not reading that. I'm not familiar like with what they're doing in that book, but
Some
I
good
I know
shit.
that it does like carry over.
Hmm.
For
Some
me,
good shit.
I have X-Men number 24 from Jed McKay. This continues the fallout from the Age of Revelation. This is another like epilogue. This focuses more so on the team of evil mutants, and it was revealed that this guy, the Doctor from the evil team, is actually Hank McCoy Beast from the Krakoa run. So at the end of the Krakoa run, Beast went evil and they killed him at the end of the Krakoa run. And the current Beast that's in continuality is actually Beast from the Avengers back in the 90s or the late 80s, brought in this timeline. So it's a little confusing, but we actually get the proper Beast back, in a new white form. So Evil Beast is a big white, more abomination looking version, which is pretty cool. And then also Spider-Man 94, which is the finale to this series. I don't remember if this was this week or the week before. It was at the bottom of my stack, so I finally finished this series. It
Hmm.
serves as the ending to the original Spider-Man series. So Spider-Man 94 is not coming back as much as I want it to. They're going to stick with
Hmm.
this friendly neighborhood Spider-Man series, which isn't like I don't care for. I would have preferred this. But
Hmm.
this story wraps it all up and kind of shows how MJ and Peter, how he found her and what happened after. They ended up getting married. You come to find out that Aunt May knows all about Peter being Spider-Man and has known the entire time. So it's a cool story. It wraps up very nicely. And then last but not least, Inglorious X-Force by Tim Seeley. This was the first issue that
Yes.
started. I picked it up.
Yeah.
I love
I want to pick
Archangel.
that
I
up.
love Cable. I love Helverine. I love Tabitha Boom.
Hmm.
I don't know how this book is going to go. It already kind of roped me in with some Miss Marvel bullshit right off the bat that like is a backdoor way to get her in this book. And again, like I keep saying, I don't know why Miss Marvel is being forced into X-Men books. I understand she's a mutant now, but you do not need to keep forcing her into X-Men books just to keep her in an X-Men book. Like I don't need it. Just give her own title and leave her alone. Like it just
But that's what's gonna validate people from wanting to read it, because if they see she's just like with the click. It's like if Method Man was just Method Man and he wasn't with the
eh.
Wu Tang, we would have been like, who gives a fuck?
Nah,
But
but Kamala
because of
Khan.
that, that's why.
But see, they don't realize the effect she has in comics. She doesn't sell books. Like whenever
No, I know
she's
what you mean.
whenever
Yeah,
she's
I get
involved
that.
in a book, it immediately turns people like me off of that book because again, give her her own title, let her do her own thing, put her with Carol, whatever. I don't care. Send her off in the fucking space and put her off in the corner of the universe by herself.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
care. I
yeah.
don't need the character involved in mutant stuff. She doesn't. I understand they retroactively went in and made her this big part of history with the last fucking crossover that didn't need to be done. She doesn't need to be in
Hmm.
this book. They do some bullshit where Cable sees her as the president of the United States years later in the future and she gets assassinated. And so this is why Cable came back to start this shitty X-Force team because
Always gonna be
he
Cable
wants
to
he
fucking
wants to he wants to save Kamala Khan from being assassinated. And as soon as they got to
yo.
that point of the story, I was like, well, this is my first and only time picking up this book because the next issue I will not be picking up because you threw Kamala Khan in there for me. So yeah, no.
I hear you. I hear you. That's kind of like how I felt about the whole Wolverine thing in the Revelation era. When I seen furry Wolverine, I was like, "What is the fuck are we doing
Well,
with
and
my boy?"
but
But
again,
then you
that
telling me the
yeah,
backstory,
that
I
had
I
a
get
that
it. I
had a
get it
point.
now.
And like
Hmm.
he's not a forsaken character. He's a character that was involved in an X-Men story. Like they introduced that kid in the first issue of Wolverine for this run.
Hmm.
Kamala Khan is Kamala Khan. She's Miss Marvel. She's her own character.
Hmm.
She does not need to be involved in the X-Men stuff at all. I don't need her as
Yeah.
part of a team. I don't need her palling around with X-Men. Like you want to have X-Men in her book, fine, no problem. But give her her own book and leave me out of it with the rest of my X-Men that I enjoy reading.
Right. 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 Right.
Same thing with the MCU. Like, I don't want to see. I don't care. I could care less if they bring Kamala Khan back at all in the MCU. Don't matter to me. I like the girl that plays her. She knows her stuff. She's an avid like fan of this stuff. But again,
Hmm.
I don't need Kamala Khan in the MCU at all. Doesn't serve a point. Doesn't serve a purpose.
I respect it for having the diversity
That's
in the
all.
MCU and
But
the
see,
different stuff,
there's a
because I think
diversity.
that's added. That's
There's
needed.
diversity though, and like diversity with the intent of doing the right thing, and then there's pandering, which is the other way of diversity. And I feel like
I know what you
sometimes
mean.
Marvel walks that line where like, oh, do we have this type of character? Well, let's pull this random character and let's make sure we this is our next one. Like, and it's just like
Hmm.
don't do it for that reason. Do it because the character is a good character. Like I don't need, you to, I'm going to push this character because of their ethnicity. No, the character should just stand on their own. Like,
Hmm.
do you know the world we're living in currently of like what's going on a daily day basis? The last thing people want is like all of that stuff interjected in the things that they enjoy. It's like
Yeah.
if you have a character that is a minority character that's a good character. Like look at Storm for instance. Storm is on this epic run right now by Adele bringing her back and making her this powerful the greatest mutant in existence. Like what? Like this is fantastic for the Storm character. Why are we not elevating her as Marvel as a whole now? Because like they've already done it internally. Like MCU Marvel Storm should be at the forefront of things and like it's stuff like
Oh, they're
that.
not. They're getting. I think they're getting to that
They
point yet,
will
but we have to
eventually,
get
but
through this.
you know what I'm
Get
saying?
to
Like
the fuck to
when
we're
those
at. Hmm.
characters organically get over, it's just like wrestling. Like when somebody organically gets over with the crowd, you go with the hot hand. You don't like pivot
Mhm.
because, oh, this character's not the
Mhm.
nationality we want to promote. It's like, come on,
Mhm.
now you guys are involving politics and stuff that's more for entertainment. And I know it's a fine line, but for me, that's like stuff that bothers me sometimes. Is like, you have it right here in front of you, and like, you're gonna, this Kamala Khan thing is the perfect situation of like, you have so many other characters that are of color that are more popular in the books that people actually like and are interested in and want to read about. But let's shove Kamala Khan down your fucking throat every time you read an X-Men book for the next year. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what you're reading. Let's throw her in that fucking X-Men book that everyone's going to read and make her feel important when she's fucking not. And it's a waste of time.
Mhm.
Like, it's and that's what immediately, like,
Mhm.
sorry, Tim Seeley, this book could be the best book you've ever written, and because you did that in the first issue, I'm totally out. Like, that's how
Mhm.
easy it goes for most people with in comics. Is if
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
once you start trying to force feed me something that I don't like, I'm out, dude. Like, totally. Like, it's
Mhm.
just,
That's exactly that, but that's also how I feel about some of the comics and some of the Revelation stuff.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I just stuck to Rogan Storm and the Gambit one. Is that X Force? I think that is,
Oh,
or X Men.
Unbreakable X-Men, yes. Yeah,
Unbreakable
yeah.
X Men. Yeah, I just stuck to those two because those are the two strongest ones that made sense to me. Other ones, I was like, I'm good. The Cloak and Dagger one, why the fuck? Why? When? The Spider Man one, why again? But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, and
I was
that's what
good
I'm
off
saying.
that.
I understand that, especially because you're not reading the other titles. So, like, you were totally unfamiliar reading coming into this of
Yo,
like,
I was
what
in
is even going
limbo.
on?
No
Yeah,
pun
yeah,
intended.
yeah. So, totally understandable.
Um,
And I didn't have any
yeah,
pickups this week. I don't know. Did you pick up anything this week?
I did get some other comics, some low stuff. It was the Invasion, that Venom one I told you about. I had gotten that, and then from whatnot, I also got like a crossover between Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles
Okay,
that
that's a
came
good
out not
book.
too long ago.
That's a
Yeah,
good series. It's Boom Studios. They do a good job with the Power Rangers stuff.
yeah.
I
So
I
I had
did
gotten that. It was a black and white cover, but then other than that, that was everything. I think.
I did find X Force #1 from 1990 bagged with the trading cards for $1 a piece. So I bought two of them. And
Hmm.
so I was very happy. I was in an antique shop and just happened to stumble upon them. And I was like, okay, I'll take them. Thank you. And I was just
You know what's
hoping
so
that they didn't like
crazy?
look up the prices for them. And
I see that comic all the fucking time.
we'll see the,
And it's always that cheap. Oh, it's always that cheap.
yeah.
But then in my head, I'm like, I know this is supposed to be way more than this. Why are people
Well,
always putting that
we'll
there?
see. The problem with that book is it's just like X-Men #1, where it was so overproduced that like it was such a high selling book that they overproduced the shit out of it. So it's such a common book, but to find it like with the Deadpool trading cards in it, that's kind of the rare thing. And like finding that is like makes it a gem. I don't know if I'm going to send it off to get graded. I kind of do like the fact that it's in the bag sealed and like not open.
I seen
If
that exact one before in my face, but I passed on it because I was like,
if I
I don't know, I'm not the greatest
if I
X Force person
if I
like that.
send it to be graded, they CGC opens it and takes it out of the bag to before they grade it. So it kind of
Hmm.
ruins it for me. Like if I was to get that slabbed, I would want that slabbed in the bag with the cards. Like that's the way the book is. Like
Hmm.
that's how it should be slabbed. But I understand why they take
Hmm.
it out of the bag. But yeah, it was just a cool little find in a random antique shop, and I love stuff like that. It's sometimes just luck of the draw.
Yeah, I think next time I pass on it, I'm gonna actually get it because I've seen that same exact one so many times, and I've passed on it, and I think they have it at my LCS too, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
and you'll probably find it cheap. Like that's usually like the price, anywhere from $1 to a couple of dollars. And if you get it
hmm.
graded, it could be $100 book, $200 book. It just depends. It really all depends on like the grade, the newsstand edition. The newsstand edition is worth a lot more, and that's what these were that I found. So
Hmm.
yeah, but we'll see what happens. They're not for me to sell off. They're just personal things for me that I like to pick off every
Yeah,
once in
no,
a
for
while when
sure.
I find. But
Hmm.
I always highly suggest if you see an antique shop on the side of the road, stop and check it out because you never know what you're gonna find. Like when it comes to comics or collectibles or stuff like that, you might get lucky in some of those places, and sometimes they don't know what they have in front of them. With eBay, it makes it a lot more easier where like they can just look up eBay prices.
Look it
But
up.
but
Yeah.
sometimes you'll find stuff that's like priced so cheap and it's a rare item or something that's super hard to find, and here it is sitting in this antique shop that you never would have walked in if you did. You know what I mean? So I always recommend to
Right.
people to go do that.
Right. Right.
But I know
Um.
you got a flight you got to catch, so we should probably
Yeah. No.
start
But
wrapping this up.
I do want to wrap it up, but I do just want to talk about just some things that we're watching, and then we
Okay.
could just go send off from there. Right now, I'm watching JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm trying to finish it because I'm super behind because there's already a season 3 out right now. Trying to catch up on that. Um, hopefully I'll catch it on the flight. But other than that, yeah, that's my main thing right now.
I
Other than
know
Duke and Egg stuff.
I know nothing about anime at all. I don't watch it.
Hmm.
It's you're gonna hate me for this. I don't like the art style. Like so I love Japanese culture. I love
You were
Japanese
good at not
art,
watching it anime.
but
That
I don't like anime. Like the animation style for me is just unappealing to my eyes visually when I watch it,
it,
and I lose
it is what it
interest.
is.
It happens, and it's
Mhm.
not even just like anime. It's just anything that's in that style. Even if a comic book's like drawn in that style.
Yeah,
Everybody I know loves Peach Momoko's artwork, and her artwork is beautiful. But
I,
I
I,
can't read her
I,
books
I,
like because
I
of
don't,
the anime
I don't
artwork.
like Peach Momoko. I don't like that type of anime. No,
So
me
like
either.
any
I
type
know
of
what you
stuff
mean by
that's
that.
like Dragon Ball Z, I've never watched that. I
Hmm.
don't know any of those things at all. Like, so I'm sorry if
The
you're an
show's
anime
great.
fan.
Nah, the show is great. But I mean, it to each their own. That's what art is here for.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm
but yeah.
gonna.
So what are you watching?
I'm watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms tomorrow night on Sunday. By the time you listen to this, it would have already aired. And I have to check out His and Hers. Right, that's the Tessa
Oh yeah,
Thompson
the Netflix
show on
show. Yeah.
Netflix.
Hmm.
I have to start that. We're due that snowstorm, so more than likely I will probably watch that during the snowstorm and buckle down on that. There is also a Mel Brooks documentary on HBO Max that I have to watch. It's celebrating Mel Brooks being 99 years old and still going in comedy. Some of his iconic works in comedy: Robin Hood, Men in Tights, Monty Python, etc. Spaceballs. He's coming back for Spaceballs too, so it should be a lot of fun. They
Mm.
just wrapped filming on that, so the documentary is done by Judd Apatow, and it goes over Mel Brooks's whole career and has a lot of interviews and funny stuff with a lot of his friends. So that's something else that's on my watch list to get around to.
Did, did you check out that WWE documentary?
Unreal, yes, Unreal is
Yeah.
fantastic. I will watch anything the WWE documentary crew does simply because it's always good. I miss the WWE network so much when the WWE network was a thing and you could just pay for that on its own. To me, that's what made it worth it was the WWE documentaries because they
All
would
the archive
they
stuff he
they
had
would
on
pump
there.
these
Yeah.
out every couple of months where you'd have a new documentary about a returning superstar or you'd have the documentary about SummerSlam or the documentary about
Hmm.
Royal Rumble and etc. I
Hmm.
love their doc style. I love the way they shoot. Their production value is like second to none. I don't think any sports franchise like NFL, any of those
None of
places
the 30 for 30 shit does
that's what I mean.
anything
Like they
like
don't
that.
even come close to the WWE's like style and production quality that they do. So I love this second season. I love this show. I hope that it continues. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's great. I hope we get more
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
have that
this
on my
on
list.
Netflix from them. I know they're going to be documenting WrestleMania this year, and we'll have a WrestleMania documentary and so forth, which will be a lot of fun. So yeah, but it was great. It was really good. They kind of cover Jelly Roll from SummerSlam showing up in his match with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Chelsea Green and kind of focus on more of those storylines from the past couple of months. So it was fun.
Yeah, dope. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's on my list. But yeah, this has been Talking Soups with Ande and Ed. Um, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Well, we enjoyed much giving it to you.
Yes, yes.
And remember, like I said before, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share with your friends who are into comics that want to know more about comics and all that comes with it in this culture that we love so much.
And make sure
And yeah,
you're
man.
following us on social media too. I'm at Guest Music and Ande.
And I'm at on day, which is ANDE dot underscore and underscore. So you can find me there. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube or something, I have that our links in the bio here, so you can just check below. Um, but
Now,
yeah,
now Ande's
uh,
off to avoid the storm. We're all about to get snowed
yes,
in. Hopefully, he can make his flight and get out of here before it starts.
yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you
Wish
so
me
much.
luck. Yeah, we miss you guys, and see you then.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.